Hi everybody and welcome to the clarinet. This beautiful instrument here is actually my personal instrument. I play clarinet. That is what I went to college on. This guy here, this is actually called Moo Moo. I named him back in 1999 when I received him as a graduation gift from my parents. But anyways, the clarinet is part of the woodwind family. Sound is produced on the clarinet by placing the mouthpiece in your mouth and then blowing across the reed, which is this white part right here. As you blow across it, it actually vibrates against the black hard rubber mouthpiece, and that is actually what creates the sound. The clarinet itself, you might be thinking about like how big this is, just to give you guys a clue. This thing is about 2 feet, maybe 2.5 feet or so, maybe 3. But it's not a concern because the part that you actually play is right here in the middle within about a 1 foot distance. And if you're wondering, how am I going to carry that thing home? It's simple. The clarinet actually breaks down into smaller pieces and it all fits into a case about this big, right? So unless you're carrying about 5 textbooks, that should slide really easily into a backpack for you. Now, let me give you some ideas about how this instrument sounds, because obviously we didn't join band to look at how a clarinet looks. You want to hear how it sounds. So the clarinet has a huge range of sounds that it can produce. It has low sounds that are great and pleasing to the ear, and then it has medium sounds that are great and pleasing to the ear, and it has high sounds that are also great and pleasing to the ear. So let me give you an example. This is the lowest sound that you can make on the clarinet. And now, this is one of the higher sounds that you can create on the clarinet. In our 6th grade land, we actually get to go a little bit higher than this, but this is one of the very first high notes that we get to play. So as you can tell, it has quite a range. So let me give you some examples of some of the notes that are in between. I'm just going to do a very quick scale. This is one of the scale is one of the very first ones that we actually learn. Okay, so that started on our low note, and we went up to actually a note that sits right on top of the staff. Let me give you another one that goes to that other high note that I played earlier. So again, it's actually a really versatile instrument because you can play a lot of notes with just one instrument. So let's go ahead and get into some pros and some cons, some good things and some not so good things, or things to kind of keep in the back of your head. I don't call them not good things. But one of the best things about the clarinet is that it is a very intuitive fingering pattern, which means if you just, guess, you're probably going to be right. For example, if I'm here with no fingers down and I want to play lower sounds, all I have to do is just add fingers. Watch this. Right? As I add fingers, I'm going to get a lower sound. And the opposite happens as well. If I take fingers away, I get higher sounds. Now, that applies for most of the clarinet. There's a little spot in there where you actually run out of fingers, and when you run out of fingers, you have to reset. And so we call that going over the break or crossing the break. And that is, again, it's an easy fingering pattern to kind of learn and to memorize. Some of the other woodwind instruments, you have to do funky little finger loopy thingies where maybe this finger's down and these two are down, but not the others. So like I said, the clarinet has a very easy fingering pattern. If you liked recorder in elementary school, this is very similar to the recorder in elementary school. You have your hole in the back, you have your 3 holes on the top hand, and then you have your 3 holes in the bottom hand. And then obviously on the clarinet, they've added all of these silver keys and things to play those notes that you wish you could play on the recorder, but you couldn't because there wasn't a possibility to play it. Those are, actually, the last thing I wanted to say, another great thing is because we were talking about how it plays low sounds, medium sounds, and high sounds, the clarinet, when you're thinking about what part it plays in music, it plays all of it. Like the lower stuff can be used for accompaniment. And then the middle stuff, the middle notes can be used for harmony, and then the higher notes can be used for melody. And actually, that is how the most clarinet music is written. It's not written as everybody in the clarinet section plays the same thing. If you look at a lot of professional musical groups, like any of the military bands, or even like the Chicago Wind Symphony, you're gonna notice there's about 3 clarinets and maybe like 1 or 2 of some of the other instruments, like maybe 2 oboes. But you're going to notice that it's usually 3 or more clarinets, simply because when composers are writing their music, they know the clarinet can play low sounds, medium sounds, and high sounds, and because of that, they write multiple parts for the instrument. Okay, a con. So things that I want you guys to keep in the back of your head as you are considering this instrument. The very first thing that I want to point out is that, like I said at the very beginning, this is a reeded instrument. Okay, and these reeds, these are biodegradable, which means that as you use them through just the period, or just the process of playing and learning how to play, you have to replace these. Okay, what my students do is they use 4, and every 6 weeks. So when you get a report card, you actually rotate to a new set of 4. So as far as how much does it cost, they come in a box of 10 for $25, $25 to $30, depending on where you where you purchase them. I think Amazon has them right now for about $25. But throughout the entire course of the school year, you're only going to be purchasing about 2.5 boxes. So you're looking at less than $75 for the entire school year. I know that seems like a lot, but there are other instruments, unlike there are other instruments that each single reed is about $20 a piece, and so it's a cost effective to rotate your reeds. And when you really factor in that it's only about $75 for the whole entire year, it actually comes out to something that's very manageable. And as always, if your family goes into, if there is a financial situation where your family cannot afford to get you reeds, please let us know. We're always here to help and assist. And we've traded reeds for band community service before, where you stay after school one day and you help me clean up the band hall, and I pay you back in reeds. So anyways, that is one of the big things about it. They are fragile. That is one of the things that you have to remember as well. I tell all my students that you have to treat these reeds like babies. Here's the baby's head, the baby's middle section, and there's the baby's butt. If you drop a baby on its butt, it's gonna be okay. You drop it on its head, and you're gonna have some issues. So anyways, we'll talk about reed care and all that stuff later. If you do choose to do the clarinet, I think it's definitely one of the big things that we talk about. One of the other things that you have to be aware of whenever you're playing the clarinet, unlike most, if not all, of the other woodwind instruments, these are open hold keys, which means that to create the sound, the hole has to be completely covered with your fingers. So what I call the flat part, or the fingerprint part of your fingers, is actually what is used to cover the holes. In my entire 17 years of teaching, I've only met like a handful of students whose fingers just weren't big enough to cover the holes. So the first year they struggled a little bit, but as they got older, their fingers got longer and fatter, and then all of a sudden it wasn't an issue anymore. True story. When I was in 5th grade, I played clarinet, and I just thought I was a hobo clarinet player. So I actually quit at the end of 5th grade because I didn't think I was really good at it, and nobody told me that the reason why I couldn't play lower notes is because my little finger, this finger right here, this ring finger, actually fit inside that hole. Like, it actually went all the way in. And I remember like playing around going, I can't believe my finger will go in there. Anyways, because of that, because it was so small, I couldn't play like a lot of the notes. And so I just thought I was a horrible clarinet player. And then lo and behold, 8th grade, I'm taller, fingers are a lot fatter and bigger. And I got back into band, and I was like, oh, this is a lot easier, And I never put the 2 and 2 together until I became a teacher. And then I was like, oh. skinny fingers. But if you're worried about it, it's simple. I just need to like just give me a shot of your hands like this, a picture like that, and I will let you know, yes, those should be fine, or maybe you should come in and let's check it out, or that's not going to work at all. In most cases, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Like I said, I've taught for 16, maybe 17 years, and I've only had 2 kiddos that really struggled with it. But they only struggled during their 6th grade year. As they got older and taller, 7th and 8th grade, it just the issue just kind of went away, and then it wasn't a problem anymore. Then the last thing I wanted to say about the clarinet is that we do have clarinets here on campus that we loan out to our families who are in need. So if your family is in a situation where they cannot get you your own clarinet, we do have clarinets here for you to use. They're not shiny and they're not pretty, but they look like this and they work. The only things that we require is that you make sure you get the book, the cleaning supplies, and the reeds. That is something this is a consumable product that only you or your child will be using. And so we do require you guys to get these. But like I said earlier, if there's a financial situation where you cannot afford the reeds, we do have band community service opportunities for you to earn reeds. And I think that's it. That's pretty much the skinny on the clarinet. Feel free to use YouTube. It is a great tool to just search people playing the clarinet. You'll see everything from Star Wars to people playing Super Mario theme to, I believe there's even one guy who's playing Havana on the clarinet. So I know, old songs, sorry. Old lady. But anyways, feel free to email me if you have any questions or any other concerns about it. And it was great talking to you guys. Bye.